Guys, thanks for joining me and welcome to your reading for December 2018. I'm excited to be here with you guys, and we're going to take a look at this sign. Okay, so this is the sign we're reading for, and I'm not going to look. I almost looked, almost spoiled the surprise. Let's take a look at your reading. Hopefully you guys can like and comment the video. I'd much appreciate it if you could. And let's see what your reading is all about. Okay, so let's see. All right, let's see this energy. We have, ooh, the heart. Somebody's getting some love over the holidays. And then we have the book. Okay, secrets in love. A secret. So you have somebody helping you, do you? You have somebody who is older than you, helping you, telling you the secrets of love, how to approach love, how to be in love, how to find out if they like you or not. I feel like somebody's cluing you in. Maybe you don't even know that somebody likes you or that you have as good of a connection as you do, and somebody steps in and says, hey, wait a minute, this is the information. Also, somebody's telling you information because they love you, giving you advice, or it's not like a warning, but it's like they see something happening for you that they want to advise you because they love you. The sign we're reading for is Leo. Hey girl, hey. I feel like I haven't read for Leo in ages. So we have the stork, and then we have the flowers at the center getting gifts and presents, and then we have the rider. Somebody older coming in. Somebody who's quite wise. There could be a change in love for the better. So whatever is coming up in your love life that's changing, go with the flow, even if it means spending Christmas away from each other. It's all for the best. It's making the relationship more functional. So whatever's going on, I do sense like there's a little bit of hesitancy, like is this change actually in my best interest or in our best interest? But I do feel like it's a good one. I feel like somebody's coming in with presents. There's good energy all around. Here is the next message. We have the 2 dice. A bit of a risk that you're taking in a relationship, a bit of a chance that you're taking. Then we have the ship definitely going somewhere, and then the coffin. Okay, so I feel like something's going to put an end to things. It's like, here is the situation, now we have closure, now we can move along. I don't think that there's a relationship that's ending. However, trip might change on an unexpected decision. Unexpectedly, one or both people may make a decision to kind of go a different direction. I feel like there is a lot of subtle gifts and hints that are being given. So there's like subtlety there. There's subtly you're receiving gifts and to give you messages. So if somebody's suddenly giving you gifts, then definitely they may be indicating that there's deeper feelings there for you. Somebody could also make a really far away journey because they love you. So if there's a relative or a friend who comes into town, give them extra time, because I think that they're there because they love you so much. It's because they felt the need to come. I do think that it's going to change a lot for you though, Leo. I do feel like all of this stuff is going to change the way you think about things. A little love and of drop in the bucket can really help a situation along. Let's see what's on the bottom. We have the fish. Okay. Rethinking your plans with regard to business. Maybe business has been very successful, and now you're reconsidering the finer things in life, like relationships and dynamics between yourself and others, as motivating factors to kind of maybe, how do you say, to maybe reconsider some of the plans in business. Also, you put an end to things. Somebody could be really liking what you're doing in terms of work and giving you a lot of incentivizing it, giving you a lot of stuff, giving you a lot of it's not swag, giving you a lot of different things in order to incentivize you to be interested in talking with them. But you want to be careful with that, and I think ultimately you'll make a decision to go a different direction, Okay, so let's pick a card from the Colette Baron Reed deck. We have the Starfish Spirit, open to infinite possibility. I think that whatever comes through in December is a small part of what's coming ahead, and I think the owl, which is like, it's like the birds, but it's an elevated birds where there's information and knowledge. I think the owl knows that you're kind of dealing with the preliminary stages of some things. So it's not a good idea to necessarily throw your all at it, or, you know, just lay down in front of it and let it roll over you. Let's take a look at your next cards, Sacred Power Oracle cards, the Medicine Man. So I feel as though maybe in the I think maybe this is you being discerning. So flexing your discernment skills, flexing your ability to say no to certain things allows more things of a good nature to come into your life. So you're in some way very much kind of saying no to some things, even though they seem nice, but you have to give yourself the gift of relaxation, of rest. And I feel like somebody's coming in to bring good news, and there's going to be a change that you make to be more successful. You may actually end up prioritizing work instead of relationships right at the end of the month, once you put everything in line with how you need it. The next message is Remph, which is the Angel of Time. So this is always suggesting that there is now this is the time to go after something pretty big, something you've been working on for a while, or something that you've wanted for a while. This is the time for you to give yourself a gift and love yourself and take some chances. I think that the chances that you take, this may include, you know, like making a change with regard to travel plans so you can put a lot of energy in a new direction. And when a new person shows up on the scene, or a new person shows up, this person will be a part of that equation for success. Leo, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will talk with you soon. Take care. Happy holidays. Bye. Guys, thanks for joining me, and welcome to your new moon reading. And I'm excited to be here with you guys. This is a two-part video. One is on YouTube, one is on Vimeo. On YouTube, we're going to go over the basics and tell you about this new moon. That's exactly a portal. It's a very powerful portal. In fact, I don't want to mislead you. Most full moons and new moons are portals. It's just this one is particularly nice and very kind energy here. So I hope you guys are getting ready for it. It's kind of the reason why I'm posting early. I'm also posting for this one early because I'm going to do a separate video for Jupiter and Sag. So we have to get the videos out early so that we do one after the other. There's 3 events in the middle of November that are going to be very impactful. There's going to be the new moon that starts it all off. Then we have Jupiter and Sag, and then we have the nodal shift. And depending on which nodes you follow, that depends on which date you follow. But typically we're just talking about the north node moving into Cancer and the south node moving into Capricorn. So it's going to be a very nice energy. Your first card is the moon. Wow, okay. I love these cards. This is the Mary L Tarot. So right off the bat, you're really in sync with this new moon. Wherever it's happening in your chart, we'll find out in a moment. And I feel as though this is very impactful for you. This is definitely a signal that this is a new moon that you should be paying attention to, and you should be really working through the energy and really being present in the energy to get as much as you can out of it. Wow, we have the soulmate card, the 6 of Cups. This is Sun in Scorpio. I feel as though maybe very eventful things can present themselves to you. So imagine that you're on a path and there's a clearing. There's like a clear path forward for you now. It all depends at the end of the day whether you're going to take that path or not. But this really signifies that there are feelings stirring inside of you, inside of your heart, that are in some way guiding you towards this very special person or a very special memory, something that you are really meant to connect with. The next message is the Lovers. This is the card of Gemini, but together with this card, it really signifies that many of you will experience a very blossoming relationship, a closeness with someone else. a resonance, an understanding. So these are very powerful cards together. I feel as though whenever the moon shows up like this, I feel like it's saying that in the subconscious mind, in the trickle of time, in the multi-generations that have led us here, I feel like you have been brought into this, in this place, in this time, and something within your conscious mind is picking up on the subconscious, and it's saying, hey, go in this direction. This person's kind of important. Okay, so that's the powerful 3 cards. I would say the most powerful 3 cards I've picked so far, and I'm about halfway through your readings. Okay, so let's take a look at your card. This is for Capricorn. Hey girl, yeah, you have the South Node, right? The South Node is moving into your first house. That's an amazing year. So I actually just did Cancer, who is going to be experiencing the North Node transit for the next 16 months, and you are about to experience the opposite. So you and Cancer are opposite signs, and so there is like a huge resonance between the two of you, and especially now these connections between Cancer and Capricorn are quite intense. We'll definitely do a nodal change video separate just to keep people. Astrology can be a bit much, and there's like a bunch of stuff happening at the same time, so you know, just bear in mind, we'll do them separately. But that South Node is moving here into your first house. So what this means is that you're really tapping in a karmic relationship. But when I say karmic relationship, I don't mean something negative or something that you have to painfully learn through, that people kind of use as a cathartic explanation for what happened that went wrong. And there's definitely karmic relationships, but when I say karmic relationship in the future sense, is that it's a powerful connection with someone else. It could be a soulmate, it could be a twin flame, or it could be someone with whom you have some type of lesson to learn, and it could be positive or negative, so it's not necessarily difficult. And in fact, here it's suggesting it's very powerful and loving. Okay, so let's talk about the new moon before I get too distracted here, but we can start with Pluto and Vesta, which is an asteroid in your first house, because this is the key of the portal. This is the point through which the turbine of the energy that in some way is informing the new moon. So this is a sextile energy, which is opening up a new portal, moving forward into your 11th house of friendship, right? And so I feel as though your heart is opening up, you're being brought forward in a new direction, and I feel as though the motivation for this is an awareness to do with your karmic past. Now that karmic past has to do with past lives. It has to do with past lives of a cosmic nature. So this is primordial energy with Pluto. We're not talking about, you know, South Node or Saturn karma. Saturn's this life, right? South Node is more past lives, more of a spiritual take on things. This is more like aliens. I know that sounds really out there, but you know, you guys just keep listening to my stuff. I always use it the same way, so you'll pick up on it after a while. But think, Pluto is the exoplanet, right? So it exists like as far away from the sun as all the planets we use. There's, I think, 250 planets altogether. So it's Pluto's a minor planet in the solar system. Ceres is actually a planet as well. So now, from now on, I'm going to be using Ceres in my readings as well. Plus, she's a female archetype, which I like including, and a positive female archetype. I'm kind of done with Lilith, so we want some positivity in here. But yeah, Pluto is a dwarf planet, as they call it. I kind of don't like the name, and there's been a lot of back and forth whether it's a planet or an asteroid at all. So it's a classification issue, and the reason why they declassify planets from planet status is because if they declassify Pluto, if they classify Pluto, then Ceres and maybe 200 other planets have to be reclassified as well. So instead of 10 planets, we would have like 200. So it becomes like just a function issue. It's just a label. But anyway, sorry that I got sidetracked. But Pluto is the exoplanet, and so with that, there's a powerful resonance there that is associated with very, like, how do you say, non-human energy, you know? And it's energy that affects us, but energy that doesn't come from us, that isn't within our biosphere. And so therefore it's very powerful that it's in your first house. It's a planet that's associated with power. It's a very small planet, right? And yet it has this huge kind of, it has a ring to it. I don't know, a metallic ring sort of energy. I don't know if you've ever felt it. If you have, just please leave a comment below and tell us your story. But it has this like powerful resonance. And for such a small planet, it's able to enact a lot of energy shift outward. Okay, so this Pluto energy is connecting with the sun and the moon, which is the new moon in your 11th house, and something from within you, from this external place, is channeling with the area of friendship and the area of social connection for you, and through that bringing forward new awareness, new energy. And I know the energy is positive because of the fixed stars that are here as well, and the asteroids that are affecting us at this time. So we'll talk about that on Vimeo. That's the part I'm keeping out of YouTube because it's too specific for YouTube. People get they have preferences, yeah. And then Jupiter is also a part of this new moon, and Jupiter is affecting the nodes, the south node and the north node. So the south node is transiting right into your first house. This is where all the karmic work is happening, and that's a sextile to Jupiter. And then there's a trine to the north node in your 8th house, and the north node, as you can see, is all by itself, right? So with Jupiter creating a trine to the north node, it's opening up a path forward in a direction that wouldn't be reinforced otherwise. So I think you should take it. So it's like, so in layman's terms, basically you will find something within yourself that may be very atypical to which you have found before, a preference, an idea, a memory, something that resonates with someone else, possibly, very likely. Sorry, the light is shifting and it's become quite bright outside, but so yeah, so something within yourself is going to kind of unlock some kind of compartment. It's going to unlock some kind of compartment within you, and that's going to lead you into opening your eyes towards a friend. And that could be love, that can be something else, but I feel as though the big push is towards synthesis with someone else, a natural connection. So pretty exciting stuff, right? But the reason I explained Pluto to you guys, especially, I didn't explain it in the other videos, is because it's in your first house, of course. But I need you to differentiate. This isn't past life energy. This is exo. This is primordial. So this is like bugs and like what we've evolved out of. Like this is the resonance of the universe, right? So it doesn't make as logical sense energetically as other things. With Saturn, it's like, yeah, I kicked him, so, you know, here's my karma back. With the South Node, yeah, someone in the past did something like this, so that makes sense. This is what's going on in my life. With this is very atypical and very shared between people. So it's not you, it's like the collective karma that's channeled through you. So don't feel a way about whatever's coming up. It's really something that's yours, but it's really not coming from you. It's coming from all of us. And so therefore what's coming through is like, expect it to be different and expect it to not make sense or not fit into like a sequential timeline of events that you can make sense with, like with the South Node or Saturn. With this is like, this is the Joker card. This is the extra variable, you know, that's coming in to have this experience. So if you're feeling kind of stunted or overwhelmed, maybe that's where it's coming from, right? Okay, so of course I got the Starseed Tarot. So let's check it out for the new moon. Okay, so you guys have the 10 of Crystals. This is an amazing relationship that's coming in for you, Capricorn. Family, togetherness, love, passion, very deep feelings. I think I explained Pluto because of this, because so many times this means, you know, deception, whatever, but that's the real meaning. The moon's resonance is very similar to Pluto if you think about it. How it manifests is different, but the memory is the shared memory, right? So it's the feeling and emotion of the soul, and Pluto is that shared feeling and emotion of the soul of the collective. So it's very similar but slightly different, okay? here is the next message. We have the Sage of Chalices, the Queen of Cups, a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. Now, if you are oriented in a different direction than females, so if you like men, then let it be a guy. Or maybe this is your own feelings opening up. A lot of people are showing up as Scorpionic because, of course, the new moon in Scorpio is very powerful. Jupiter makes things bigger, right? So it also kind of influences your transits to look more watery as well. So you have this kind of natural connection, feeling love, being open, feeling passionate, and we have the Five of Orbs. And this is like the Five of Swords. So this is what I was talking about. This is full circle, actually. So what I was talking about is that you're going to feel weird and you're going to feel awkward and you're going to feel like, what's going on? Where is this from? It's not going to feel like resonant like the South Node. There will be resonance there from the South Node because Jupiter is aspecting the South Node, as I said. But like there is a deeper sense of connection. And some of it's not human. You have to understand. That doesn't mean like aliens or anything else. It's not necessarily that. It's just it's not an energy that is easily justifiable, and you have to be very humble before it. You know, it's like it's intervention. Interesting. And in some sense it doesn't work in the same laws of karma either. So it's not like you do good, you get good, you do bad, you get bad, because it's a scope issue, right? So in comparison to the universe, you're so tiny, the karma gets absolved, right? So this is why Pluto's such an intense planet, because you're chipping away at like the final periphery of something really huge that's collective. So this is gonna feel this way. It's gonna feel like, you know, a lot of right, and then feeling like you've made a mistake. And I think that the main thing for you is I think Five of Swords is like secure territory and hold on for dear life, Capricorn. And I think you're going to be fine because the transits are very powerful for you there. But I do feel like there's like a deep connection, you know, feed into this energy. And if it's really fighting against you, like I feel as though there's going to be a drastic shift and it's going to in some way fight against you. So in layman's terms, there might be a fight or there may be some kind of conflict that pushes you away. You know, when people sometimes yell at you, they're pushing you away because they're conflicted, or they want to so that they yell at you to push you away, you know. And I think you should be very aware of this. So like plant your territory down and let go, and like hold on for dear life in the sense of like make sure that you get what you need. But in terms of trying to over influence this situation, you have to let it go. You have to allow it to resonate. These are powerful cards, and the probability of this relationship working out are really good. So what you need to do is, you know, trust that the value of these four cards, the Queen of Cups, the Ten of Pentacles, the Lovers, and the Six of Cups, is greater than whatever conflict is coming up. And I feel like that conflict is Plutonian. I feel like it's coming through it as an extension of some universal energy. So it has to work itself out. You don't have the force to be able to change it. So you have to take care of what you can take care of and let the rest of it go. On the bottom, you have the Two of Angels. That's really reassuring you that there's going to be a good outcome in this, provided you don't meddle. Just don't meddle. Balance in things, okay? So sorry for this is an atypical reading. Usually it's not like this, but some of you guys like it, and so please leave a comment and a like. And if you want to talk about asteroids, go into the About section. Thank you so much. Bye. Hi Sagittarius, thank you for joining me and welcome to this reading for September. I'm super excited to be here with you guys. You're seeing behind on the screen the Vimeo reading that you guys can get for September down below. I'm super excited to tell you guys about the court cards in this reading. We started doing this cool thing and I've been getting good feedback. I really like it. So what we've been doing is, there we go, that's better, hey? A little brighter, a little lighter. Okay. I have to be on an old computer because mine's in repair. So anyway, so what I've started doing is going through the court cards on YouTube rather than the whole reading again. So if you guys want me to, if you want to rent the reading or get all of them together, feel free to do so on Vimeo. And we're going to talk about the important people in your life in September, okay? So we see the Knight of Wands, who's the King of Wands in most decks. This is the Thoth deck, which is the TOTH deck. And I feel like somebody is really pushing hard towards a relationship with you. It could be another Sagittarius, but it could also be another fire sign such as Leo or Aries. Particularly, I think Leo, because of this position, and I just feel like it might be a Leo, sun, moon, or rising. Besides, this reading is for sun and moon and rising, of course, as well. We do have a full moon in Aries on the 24th, but I'll get to that in just a moment when we look through the astrology. So I feel like, and this is Sagittarius right here representing the closening bond of your relationship. So I feel like that is on point. There could be a lot of adult tension. I have to be careful of the words. Whenever I say the S word, we'll call it the S word. Whenever I say the S word, my videos have to be reviewed by YouTube. Their analytics have gotten really good at picking up even like the most benign word. So they have that figured out. Or maybe I say it very well. Anyway, so I feel like there could be like a deep, passionate connection between you and the Knight of Wands, who's the King of Wands. So maybe someone who's mature, someone who's grown. It could be also someone who's platonic, such as another family member. This area right here that's getting such a nice growth has to do with family connections, closening bonds, all of that stuff. So that's really great. Although maybe you may feel a little bit separated from your family members. You may feel somewhat kind of autonomous, doing your thing. And hey girl, hey, that's okay. Everybody has a right to do their own thing from time to time to figure out which direction is best for them. So it's kind of that contemplative state about what's best for you and your family. Okay, so the next message is the Queen of Pentacles down here, and I think that she is a key player for you in September. Hey girl, hey, that's me. I'm a Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn, and so I feel like I'm one of those. No, but she is one of those, and she's bringing that good advice and help to you. There might be a change with work. I talk about this in the Vimeo, and I feel like that change of work in some way she will help you through it. So she is your go-to buddy, and I feel as though this is the Princess of Wands, so the Page of Wands, a Sag, Leo, or Aries. A very young female may be going on a journey. She could be going with you on a journey or coming to you from far away, or she could be coming to you from far away, or excuse me, I got emotional. Why am I getting emotional over this? This means like somebody's coming. Or I feel like I'm getting emotional over the fact that she's leaving. She's going on some kind of trip. She's adjusting as well. So I'm not sure, it's going to be different for every single Sag. And then finally, this person comes on the scene, a Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra. Somebody comes through, really comes through. That's an understatement. I feel like this is a very interesting reading, by the way. There's like, it's full of mishaps, near misses, all of that kind of stuff. And in some way you're dealing with like a lot of energy from a lot of different people. And so I feel like it's not perilous, but it is keeping you on your toes, and you definitely have to make some changes in September. But I do feel like the Knight of Swords, the King of Swords, is going to really help you through difficult circumstances, consisting of community stuff, things with groups, falling out with groups, that kind of thing, figuring out your bearings with that, and lifting your mood. This is the big thing, and I haven't been talking about the readings so much in these readings, but I will tell you, I feel like if something that you wanted to happen falls through. If it's just bad luck, bad situation, not the right time. The first message I got was, if you don't get it the first time, you should definitely try almost immediately in a different direction. That's the number one thing. But if something falls through, not in the way that you wanted it, not what you wanted, I think that you really need to brush it off as quickly as possible and move on. And I think this Knight of Swords, King of Swords, is the person who helps you do it. Again, they can have a sun, moon, or rising in Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra, and this person will hear you out about the circumstances that are going on in your life and really stand by you and understand. Okay, so now we are going to go and progress into our astrology. Because the computer's all jacked up, I can only do this. So that's all you guys get. You guys get a little bit of a chart, and then we'll talk about it, and we'll do some tarot alongside it. I hope that's okay with you. So the first house, the first area of life that something is going on in, is your 10th house. That's why you shouldn't be holding on to any kind of unfinished business, anything that didn't work out for you. You should just let it go, girl, bye, not interested. And especially the new moon that's going to happen on the 9th of September, the new moon in your 10th house of career, you know, new opportunities coming through. Mercury is just charged up from Mercury retrograde, storming through Virgo. I think that by the 21st, Mercury will leave Virgo and move on to Libra. So Mercury is in Virgo for, I think, 17 days. Is that what it is? Mercury enters Virgo on the 5th and then leaves for, no, even less, 16 days, 2 weeks in Virgo. He's fast, you know, just zip right through there. It's the ruler of Virgo, so hey girl, hey. And if you guys don't know this asteroid, this is Pallas Athene, so up here, so fairness and order and circumstances. So if you're worried about the situation that I described with some kind of loss and unfairness, they're not going to get far, because these transits are going to assure that, you know, fairness is going to come to you in this situation. So we have a new moon on the 9th of September, as I said, and Mercury is entering on the 5th and leaving on the 21st. So I have 3 cards for you guys about this. So past, we have the 7 of Wands, okay. Present, we have the Knight of Cups. Somebody's coming through with an offer. There we go. Some type of offer, some kind of kind words, and the 4 of Wands. So hope, understanding, trust, maybe some type of, there's been some defense in a situation, but I think that there's like a real stability that is coming into your life. And I feel like this is really good in Virgo, and especially on the 9th, because the circumstances seem a little bit perilous. What it looks like to me from Vimeo, and I'll tell you guys, because I don't want to, the Vimeo is just a bonus for those of you who want to support my channel, because I put out a lot of content and it helps me subsidize it so I can do more free content, right? But I don't care. So I'll tell you guys, since we got to it, what it's going, because I think if I was trying to avoid wasting time, but I think it's imperative that I tell you, it looks like a community or group of people that you thought you were going to mesh really well with. I don't think it's going to necessarily work out in the way that you thought. And so I think that what you expected to do on the day-to-day is not going to happen the way that you thought. And you're good with change. You're really, really good with change. But I do feel like everybody has a limit. You know, everybody has a limit. That's all I'll say. But I do feel like I feel like this Knight of Cups could be a Scorpio, Cancer, or Pisces, or this could mean general people around you, that Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn, you know, all the kings and stuff. Those are the people that are bringing in good energy towards you to support you as you are trying to make things work. And so the 4 of Wands is like, you know, they're going to make it comfortable for you. Whatever transition you're in, whatever new things you're beginning that require a lot of attention and a good, solid energy, these people are bringing that in for you. They're bringing that to you. Okay? Okay. So next we're going to talk about Capricorn. And so Capricorn has a lot of transits. It's in your second house. So Mars will move direct in Capricorn on August 27th. And that's the exalted point of Mars. That's important for you. That's a big financial push in a positive direction. Saturn will move direct on the 6th of September at about 2 degrees of Capricorn. So never go back to Sagittarius for 29 years again. You guys are off the hook now. And then Pluto will go direct at the 30th of September. And what I think that will be is a financial push. And I think that in August, whatever's left of it, you should definitely try to put some effort to pushing ahead with regard to your ambitions, with regard to the things that you want to manifest. Now, if nothing's popping off, then you should be really receptive, really spend time, divulge time, schedule time to try to figure out what are they trying to tell me, because this is a 3-year transit of good money fortune. So you, as much as you want good relationships, you know, good stability and stuff, I think your efforts, what you need to whittle at is your money. And I feel like your money's gonna go in a really good direction. Okay, so let's see. And my money too, because that's my second house. Yes. Okay, let's see your cards. So we have the Hierophant in the past. So maybe some education that you finished, or maybe this is referencing that you should reach back into whatever courses, classes, and school that you did and carry that forward. Then we have the Three of Cups. So this Three of Cups is like enjoying yourself a lot. There might be a little bit of spending with all this motion forward, so be careful with spending or just throwing money around. No, but it doesn't sound like you anyway. The next message is the Page of Pentacles, a new financial idea. So hold out right until the end of the month. Actually, this may not begin for you until October because Pluto doesn't go direct until the 30th. So be patient. If you're hearing this and it's the second week of September and you're like, but Varush, nothing's come through, wait till the end of the month. Pluto's slow moving, right? It moves retrograde 6 months out of the year and then direct 6 months out of the year, plus or minus. I think it's like 5 and 7, whatever. The point is that the shadow period's long. The movement is slow and gentle. It doesn't really move fast every year. I think 2 to 3 degrees a year or something like that. So it takes it a minute to get from A to Z, right? So allow Pluto to shift forward. It's almost like, you know, when you see a wave at a water park coming at you and it's like really slow and it's exciting, right? Like, and then it hits you and it just pushes you ever gently. Not those crazy waves, but like that was funny, but like a gentle wave pushing you in the right direction. You can visualize that. Allow that gentle wave to push you towards this realization. Because with this one, the difficulty is this could be a Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn young person, but with the truth of the matter is you can't create well when you are preoccupied and when you're worried or whatever. So you definitely want to use this energy and kind of relax yourself. You've learned what you need to learn and now apply it and build up, right? Build up. And you have a wonderful transit for that. Now, Saturn in the second house is known for making money scarce or more difficult. But I think with these transits, they're very protective of this transit at this time. It just means don't be thrifty. It's time to be thrifty, Sagittarius, which is great because then you can put on your creative hat. You guys are super creative, so this will work in your favor. The next transit, I think I talked about this already. Oh, maybe in the Vimeo. So Venus moves into your 12th house. This is probably the hardest transit you're going to go through this month and probably why there's such spotted shit. So Venus moves into your 12th house. Jupiter's running through your 12th house before you get to the glow up in November. Jupiter makes problems bigger. good and bad actually, but 12th house often has things that are undealt with, so it expands difficult situations. And Venus is in her shadow period for her retrograde that begins on October 5th. And so what she's going to do is, again, draw out romantic situations, draw out relationships, places where you have love that you have not addressed. By the way, this is the last retrograde of a 5-point cycle, and this cycle is of the last 8 years. So go back 8 years and see what the theme of your love life has been. This is what this is about, and you're gonna notice a pattern. Most definitely. You can leave me a comment. Everybody leave me a comment. It's good karma and it helps my channel. And then Venus goes retrograde and then back into Libra for the end of, I think, the end of October, and then back into Scorpio. So Venus moving into Scorpio on the 9th is big for you, and probably bigger for you than anybody else. This is when people can start showing up. And some of these people you don't want to show up. It's like, oh, it's you again. It's that kind of energy. Let's find out what's going on with Venus. Ooh, I just scraped the table with my nail. It just made that sound. Here is the next message. We have, oh, cringe. Okay, eight of cups. You walked away from a situation. There may have been some unaddressed business, but you walked away. You were looking towards the future. There were things left over. Well, those little cups became gremlins, and then they're following you. Here is the next card. I'm joking. Page of Cups. A Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. This is a new relationship that could have come up. It's like, oh, it's you again. Maybe it's a water sign that pops out of the cup. You can't see it here because the autofocus is off, but that's a fish coming out of the cup. So there it goes, bounces up. Oh, it's you. The next card is the Three of Pentacles. Be careful explaining yourself at work. Like, why did you do that? You know, and especially if you are a Sagittarius who has had some romance at work, be very, very careful, because this is the house of the hidden enemy. So somebody could be jealous of you, all of that. But if you've been working really hard, I think that this is also where you can kind of shine and share with others, speak from your heart and share your expertise, the things that you know. So when Venus moves into the 12th house, you get very mystical and magical, and you think about very abstract concepts easily, and so you can convey at this time to others all these wonderful ideas that are coming to you. There's this inspiration. So on the shadow side, on the difficult side, I would say be careful of exes coming back. Be careful of co-workers who are jealous, or maybe exes at work who are jealous, who are spreading rumors. On the positive side, on the spiritual side, you forsaking the physical, the material for the non-material, and gaining insight and sharing it with other people. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so next we're going to talk about Mars in Aquarius. Pretty crazy Mars. Mars is in Aquarius in your 3rd house of communication, and it's with the South Node and Lilith. Oh, be very careful with this energy, by the way. It can actually, don't say something that you would regret. Be very cautious. And if you hear something nasty from someone, just, I would say, water under the bridge. I really agree that this month is, step out of situations this month. Don't step into them. You might hear something, but if you're hearing something, you don't quite know if it's something or if it's actually just Lilith, you know, being Lilith. So I think I didn't cut it right, so let me try this way. Now it's right. Hey girl, hey. Okay, so now let's see. So you have the 9 of Rods. You've been watching someone go through something. By the way, I didn't explain this well, I think. So Mars in Aquarius has a very sharp tongue, very keen intellect and discernment, very, very harsh criticism at times. I have an Aquarian moon, and Mars in Aquarius can really cut someone down very quickly. And you're not so slow either, Sagittarius. You can kind of duke it out with the best of them, but you don't want to get into this energy. Oh, it's just going to cost you more to fight, to be involved. Thanks, but no thanks, buddy. I'll work out my South Node karma on my own. That's this card right here. So in some way you could be hearing somebody be foolish, you know, you're biting your tongue, biting your tongue. Don't step into foolishness. Then you have the World. Hey girl, hey. So communication. This is short distance trips, by the way. So you may be taking a lot of short distance trips to kind of ease out the stress. This is going to be weighing you down, and this is going to be weighing you down. So you want to maybe take weekend trips, you know, even small ones, to kind of break up the regular pace and the monotony. Here is the next message. We have the Six of Pentacles. So I feel like you're speaking into existence the desire that you want more back for your efforts towards others. I give so much out, I want more in. And I think that you're speaking that into existence. But be careful that you don't get obsessed with it. Lilith creates obsession, tunnel vision, unable to discern what is what and who is who. So please take a step back from that, okay? So the next transit that we want to talk about is Ceres up here in Libra, and then at the end of September, the Sun and Mercury are going to move into Libra. So that's very good for your friendships. Your friendships, you're going to be communicating well, and people are going to be drawn to you. Whenever Ceres is somewhere, it's like bounty is here. People like wheat. They like to be fed, you know. They want to kind of sit down and talk and connect. And from September 21st and 22nd until the month later, you are going to have actually 2 months later, because when Venus goes retrograde, she'll be back in the 11th house, causing also a big influx of people. Those people, when Venus is retrograde, will be closing out karmic situations with regard to relationships. But for a couple months, you're about to begin a very social transit where a lot of people will come through, new and old, and you'll get to pick who's right for you, and you know who you are good to go with. Okay, let's take a look at your cards. Your first card is, there he is, the King of Swords. He arrives right at the end. I told you, King of Swords, Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra. Six of Swords, moving on from a situation. You left him behind, he left you behind. More likely you left him behind, and now he's back. But in the process of coming back, you have to leave behind a situation, and he puts it in perspective for you, and he gives you strength as to how to think about that. And there's your Ace of Wands. Hey girl, hey, this might be a reconnection. This might be a romantic session or something like that, from friends to lovers and more, you know. Passion gives you inspiration, if anything else. If it's platonic, this person is going to give you heavy inspiration about the potential. There is this kind of energy on you this month that is about like turning inward, and then like, how do you actually feel about the prospect of where your life is going? How do you actually feel about, you might feel somewhat more negative about how your life is going, and you need people to reinforce hope and excitement about where things may go, right? So that's what the King of Swords is about. And last but not least, we have the Aries Chiron here in the 5th house. So romance is going to take a tumble for you for the next 7 years, but right now you have Chiron retrograde, so it's going to take that edge off. It's not going to be like the next 7 years are going to be horrible and a write-off, but when Chiron's retrograde in Aries, or when Chiron's in Aries, it'll be like your identity and romance is going to be questioned, and it's going to be up for discussion. But we do have a full moon in Aries that you should pay attention to on the 24th of September. This is when you will have the opportunity to either shut down a relationship or welcome a new one in. Let's take a look at your cards about that. So with Chiron, you want to, with this full moon, you want to prepare for Chiron as much as possible. Don't you know, don't let bygones be bygones. Don't be gentle with things. Be very decisive in your reasoning. If somebody's staying, they're staying for good. If somebody's going, they need to go now. You don't have room to have your time wasted. And so with the full moon, it's a very effective energy to, especially if you need to let someone go. If you're dating a fuckboy and you want a relationship, then this is your time to take care of that, okay? Your first message is the Queen of Wands. So in the past, I feel like you've been waiting for someone for a while, someone who has in some way kind of said that they would be there and then they're not, and then this and that, you know. And she always, look at her, she's holding the flower. She gets ready every single time. That's you guys. You guys are so pretty like that, you know, always dainty, always like welcoming and excited and pretty. So you've been waiting for this person for a while, and it's always this, it's like, you know, but this, but that, excuses. And then Queen of Cups. And I think that it's making you hyper emotional. This could be a misunderstanding between friends as well. So with that full moon, you can resolve that misunderstanding. And I would really address the issue and not let it go unspoken. If you're in a romantic relationship with another woman, it's really important that you talk about your feelings. If this is your girlfriend and she's a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, then I feel like she will internalize things, and this Five of Swords will grow into the Seven of Swords, then the Eight of Swords. It'll just accentuate until it's bad news, it's a bad scene. So I feel like in this romantic relationship, you really need to share of your heart and bring forward positive energy into the situation with the full moon. Just be decisive about it. Make a decision. It's not the focus of your month, but it's something that you should pay attention to. Okay, Sag, I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. If you want to check out the Vimeo, it's Vimeo on demand, September Tarot. It's linked down below. I have other videos for you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Guys, thanks for joining me. Welcome to my channel. This is your reading for the new moon in December 6th. I'm excited to be here with you guys, and I am going to take a look at your general energy for this time period. These readings are good for sun, moon, and rising for your sign, and they are kind of like the energy, the portal, the Sagittarius portal of December. And so in some way they're going to tell you exactly what's beginning this month. It's a good video to kind of touch base with and clarify. So I have 2 Syrian starseed cards to read the general energy. We're going to do more tarot in a minute after the astrology. Here is the next message. We have the Sage of Chalices, Queen of Cups, a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. This is going to come up in a lot of readings because the water signs have a lot of transits in them. Both Mars and Venus are in water signs, and also the Mercury is direct in a water sign as well. Ace of Crystals. So there could be some kind of gift that you're receiving, or a gift that you are giving to someone else. I feel like this could be something that somebody has wanted for a very long time. There's a generous gift being given. I feel like if you have transits in Cancer, there is going to be a really beautiful grand trine through this new moon. And I know I'm not talking about the new moon specifically, but I think that relational energy is actually stronger than the new moon in some ways at this time. Let's take a look at your sign, and I'll show you all this in astrology. This is for Leo. Hey girl, hey, who's falling in love, Leo? My goodness, let's take a look at your chart. I forgot I hadn't done you yet because I take a break between these, so I'm excited to see you. So actually, if you have sun, moon, and rising Leo, you're creating a trine aspect to this new moon in your 5th house, which is the fun house. Remember how Saturn was spoiling it for like 2.5 years? This is when it gets really fun, Leo. So you should be excited for that. And also we have Uranus in your 9th house in creating a grand trine if you have some placements, especially in the last part of Leo. Oh, where I am. Oh, hey girl, hey. So I'm like right here. So that's good for us. The big like grand trine energy, manifesting time, manifesting energy and whatnot. But Uranus is on a T square from the nodes, right? Which makes us kind of dense at this time. My rising sign's not Leo, so of course this is like less no, it affects me too equally. As you can see, my jokes have like decreased in like my IQ or whatnot. But yeah, it's funny. I've been watching people like on media and stuff, and just like, oh, we can really see that T square on Uranus coming through real strong, and it affects everyone, not just you, Leo. It affects everyone, most notably Aries. Just for like, don't get mad at me, Aries. If you're watching, like, for Aries, this is it's just for a temporary. It doesn't make you. It does not. It's just because it's in your sign. This T square off the nodes. I think that it's a little bit. Reminds me of like. I don't know. It reminds me of like silly energy. It's a silly energy. And in your 9th house, Leo, it affects your thoughts and ideas. So it affects you as well. So this is more of a fun time for you, Leo, than a time of like great rumination. See, remuneration. I've been like all week, I'm like, why can't I talk? And I've been saying like funny words and all this stuff. So that is Uranus T square off the nodes in kind of like a good way. There's some downsides to it too, but I think that if you have the space to relax and not worry about consequences in your life so much over the next little while, you'll be okay. And we're pretty used to this energy at this time because it's actually been on a T square from the nodes for a while, for several months. So it keeps on going back and forth into alignment through the new moon. You are going to have a lot of it, right? But the new moon in Sag is actually creating a grand trine, especially if you have placements right here in the last part of Leo. Venus, so this is what I was talking about. Venus is in Scorpio at your IC, in your 4th house with Ceres, so a good time for new beginnings with home and family type stuff. And you have Mercury station in the 4th house, so again, really good for home and family. What we're about to see, which is exciting, and especially for those of you who have Cancer transits, right? What we're going to see is a grand trine in water. If you have Cancer transits, especially in the middle part, that's where my Venus is. Hey girl, hey. So you have Venus, trine, Mars, trine, whatever you have going on over here. And if you don't have anything going on in Cancer, then what we're seeing is a trine between Neptune and Mars and Venus. And there's a couple of these nice trines that are coming up over the next months. This happens every year or year and a half or so when Venus comes into a really good aspect to Mars. So we're going to see this this month, and next month is going to be like that. Next month, heads up, there's a new moon eclipse or a full moon eclipse in Leo right on January 20th. Let me clear my throat. And I'm totally okay. The clearing of the throat is just whatever. It's coastal living. I live in a marine climate, so hey girl, hey. Anyway, so the new moon eclipse or the full moon eclipse that happens on January 20th will be in Leo. And I feel like this new moon is like, it's like a whole chunk of time. There's a lot happening in December and January, and they're all interacting. So you should be excited about this energy. This is wonderful energy for you, Leo. And it's hitting your 12th house with the grand trine. The new moon is your fun new moon. Open up your heart, love, let love in, all of that stuff. And it looks from the cards like love's coming into your life. It looks like there's tangibly some kind of offer. The Ace of Crystals, right? Somebody's giving you a crystal. I love crystals. Like, look at this. We have citrine. We have this weird one that's called the spiritual gangster crystal. I gotta figure out what it's called, but it's a rare one. I don't know what it's called. Look at these crystals. I have ruby, I have tourmaline, I have rose quartz. These are gifted pearls. I don't buy pearls because it's not not nice. And then I have rhodochrosite, because one of my favorite readers said, rhodochrosite December, Varouche. I'm like, yes, ma'am. And I stuck it on my finger, but it looks really pretty too with the manicure. So hey, girl, hey. And then I have hiddenite, which is like kunzite. Beautiful. It's hiddenite because it's not pink. Kunzite is pink, but this is high vibration love energy. And then I have my little candle quartz. So that's just the, oh, and then I can't forget, I low-key don't show this so much, but this is my gangster. This is the Nirvana quartz, and this actually gets you to a very happy place when you meditate with it. It's a super high vibration happy stone. This is kind of the energy of your new moon, actually. If you want to ask me about that, it's the Nirvana quartz. So you guys get it right here, Leo. So let's take a look at your cards. You're going to a happy place. A happy place in your heart, or in your solar plexus, which is the 5th house right here. But yeah, it feels good, and I hope that you get a lot of good energy. Mars in your 8th house is pretty sexual though, so there could be a lot of, like, if you have a romantic partner, things could be heating up as well. Let's take a look at your cards. Your next card is Starseed, the Fool, a new beginning. Boom. And then we have the Sage of Crystals, a Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn. Boom. Now, if you're in a same-sex relationship, it's on. Hey, look at this. And you can change this around for your mans. If one of this is your mans, like a water sign or an earth sign, you know. So one of them could be a man's, one of them can be a woman. Sage, oh, 3 queens. Boom. Queen of, that's you. And then 10 of crystals. Is this like family get together? It's Christmas time, so it feels like, you know, a good connection, love. This is like family. Look at all these crystals. So many people around, new beginnings, really good connection. And then we have the Hierophant, guidance. You're a part of a community, right? And that community is super close and super tight-knit with a very strong, loving energy. So I know I talked about relationships a lot, and yes, of course, this can be interrelated house stuff. This could be you and your kids, especially if you have daughters. If you have grown daughters and they're coming back to your house, that kind of thing. You could be the mom and these are the 2 daughters, you know, something like that. Or this could be you and this could be your daughters coming around. A new beginning. This is beautiful. This is like feminine power supreme. And the guidance is like the community, Leo. Feminine power supreme. Here is your angel. So we have vengeance. What the heck? Okay, Simkiel, the angel of vengeance. Okay. No, but I do. How does that have to do with anything? It calmed me down. I gotta listen. I use these cards for a reason. I don't really necessarily like there's one for punishment, one for vengeance. I don't like either angel, but I keep it in just because I feel like I should. Okay, so let's just happy family, happy home. Fine. Venus is in the 4th house, right? Happy family, happy home. Venus in the 4th house, Leo. Fine. Okay. But if you are, and I'm thinking of a specific Leo here, but this can be for all of you. I'm trying to make sense of this. So I feel like if you are in some way involved in a family dispute or dispute with other women, I feel like most likely this is you if you're in a dispute, okay? And these are the haters, the Queen of Crystals or the Queen of Chalices in some way. Or possibly it's just the Queen of Chalices and you're friends with this one, the Queen of Crystals, which is Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn. I always have your back, Leo. Just don't even think it's me. But anyway, so I feel like this is Taurus, by the way. So it could be a Taurus. Taurus has got your back too. So I feel like the revenge is in the happiness that you're experiencing. Nothing bad is happening with this new moon. It's in your 5th house. joy and happiness are the sweetest revenge, you know? Joy and happiness for what you have, the good friends that you have, the new beginnings that are truly beginning for you, so much so that you don't even care about them, you don't care about the past. This could be your friends, and the vengeance comes through in the moving away from energy that has got you down, moving completely away from circumstances that bogged you down, that tried to hurt your heart. How about that for a reason? That the other ones, yeah, I don't think bad things are happening, Leo, at all. To make sure, we're going to play rock, paper, scissors. And so basically, if you win, then you get, you know, whatever. And whatever you decide. And then if I win, then you can also decide a condition. So if you're not ready, then pause the video. But we're going to rock, paper, scissors it right now. So rock, paper, scissors. Okay. So that's the answer right there. I hope you have a good new moon. Remember, things just got a little bit more private. The North Node is in your 12th house. So that means that you're reflecting a little bit more on things. You're having some time to reflect on things and integrate, which is hopefully an empowering process. I love you guys. I hope you guys are doing well. This card, but see, I got to keep it in, because without it, we wouldn't have had the understanding of you. Actually, this isn't just happiness. This is you being happy despite all the shitstorm that you've lived through, and all the people that stabbed you in the back are long gone, you know, and now you're enjoying time, possibly with family. Don't be vengeful, Leo. It's bad. If you have Venus or Mars in Leo, then you guys don't be vengeful. It's not a good look. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye. Guys, thanks for joining me, and welcome to your reading for the transit of the North Node in Cancer and the South Node in Capricorn between 2018, I guess 2019 and 2020 for the most part. November 2018 through May 2020. Okay, so this is a shift of the nodes, and I think that's pretty important. In fact, I think it's one of the most understated transits, and for that reason I'm doing this reading for you guys today, and then I'm also doing a reading on Vimeo that you guys can get as a part of your Timeless Karma package. So if you've already purchased that in September, we're going to add to that package now. Sorry it's taken a while, but I'm just trying to put appropriate videos in rather than forcing things, and especially karmic stuff, it has to take some time. This reading is much more like theme oriented rather than just like quick answers, that kind of stuff. But I do appreciate your likes and your comments, especially if you're watching like into 2019 or 2020. Let me know how it's going. So the first card is from the Colette Baron Reed deck, and we have the Otter Spirit. Oh, so cute. Oh, okay. You are never alone. I don't know if you know otters, how they sleep. When they sleep, they float on water, and then they hold paws. It's really kind of cute. So I feel like there is some good energy coming into your life through this energy. The North Node in Cancer transit is a much more sympathetic transit than the one we're leaving. The one we were leaving was the North Node in Leo, and it was pretty intense, and not only because of Leo, but also because of the South Node in Aquarius. So now it's much more of a compassionate transit where people, I think people overall are extremely exhausted with the lack of sympathy and compassion that the world is like in at this time. So we're gonna switch gears to a much more compassionate approach. The sign we are reading for is the Emperor. So this is Aries. Hey Aries, how's it going? Let me just get your chart going. And what we're gonna do is talk about the South Node and the North Node in detail while we take a look at, whoops, there we go, your chart moving. So we're starting with December 31st, 2018, and we're just going to let the moon go. There we go. There we go. And so as you can tell, your North Node in Cancer is actually in your 4th house of home and family. nice energy. However, you will be releasing a lot in your 10th house, not only this year, but next year and in 2020. So you're going to be experiencing a big karmic release with regard to career, who you are in the world also. I'm like your avenger, you know. I always feel like Aries get a lot of flack for who they are. And I talk about it quite a bit because I think what a part of it is this transit called Eris, not Aries, but Eris, E-R-I-S. It's an asteroid that's sitting over here. And it entered Aries in, I think, 1908 or something. And it's been in Aries all this time. So pretty much everybody who is alive has had this transit. And that gives Aries, I think, a certain, how do you say, appearance, or the way that they are perceived, that is associated with that kind of like brash, harsh way of doing things. And I think of Aries as a gentle flame. When I think of Aries, that's the thing I have in my head, gentle flame. So you guys are gentle flames. Hopefully that helps you. And I feel like that affects your public life, because oftentimes people say these kinds of disparaging things about Aries, and your sign is lovely. Like it's the first sign of the zodiac, youthful energy, positive energy. So I feel like this unpacking that's going on here in Capricorn is only going to do good things for you, way beyond this transit of Eris in Aries. So what's going on in Capricorn is that we have the South Node, Pluto, and Saturn in Capricorn all together at once. And in 2020, actually 2019 December, Jupiter is going to move into this area of your chart as well as all these planets that kind of travel together, Mars, Venus, the inner planets, Mercury, the Sun is a transit. And so with these big outer planets or mid planets in this area of your life, you will be unpacking different levels of karma, your own personal karma, collective karma, universal karma, past lives. All of those things are being flushed out, and all of the how do you say, all of the roadblocks that you experience in your life in terms of your career and your public life, those will be not all removed, but you will have probably more growth in this area of your life than any other part of your life. So it's pretty an exciting transit. If you're an astrologer, if you're into astrology, I think that it's important for all of us to be aware of this. And it's a long one. It lasts a year and a half, 2 years, and it puts a lot of it's a special moment in time for everyone collectively. And so I feel like this for you means that certain things that you can get past in terms of your career, maybe your reputation, something like that, now you have opportunities to unpack that and move forward. So that's the South Node there. We'll talk about it more on Vimeo. I think I used the Klimt Tarot for the South Node. Yeah, I did. So let's take a look at your cards for that. Now we're looking at April if you're curious. So there's your birthdays. Happy birthday, Aries, if you're watching. So here we go. We have the Sun. Hey girl, hey. That's a really wonderful card to start off with in your 10th house. That means I think that there will be a lot of attention. You know, Jupiter at the top of your chart is really wonderful for everybody who is working on their careers, working on their public life. It's a really good transit for establishing yourself. You have the Ace of Pentacles next, new career opportunities. Don't hold back for anybody and don't let them get you down. Here is the next message, the Knight of Swords. He's a Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. And the Knave of Swords, a Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. I feel like maybe maybe this is you with someone else trying to conceive of a path. Now remember, we're talking about themes and karmic past, like what's going on. I feel as though there's an alliance between two air type people. Now that doesn't mean you're a fire sign, but just because you're a fire sign doesn't mean you can't work through this energy. So it's like a contract, a verbal contract, a written contract that started many lifetimes ago, many years ago, and it is one that has promised into your life a new financial beginning. So if you're an Aries who may be, you know, an adult, or maybe even later on in life who feels like they've never come into their own, this might be the transit that actually triggers a growth, a massive growth in terms of your career. I want to bring your attention here in the south node, in the north node, sorry, it's just in the bottom of the chart. This is the time period between June and July, and that's when the Sun, Venus, Mars, Mercury will be in this area of your chart. Overall, throughout the whole year, the north node doesn't have many transits around it, and what that means is that there's a little push to move forward. In fact, a lot of this has to do with ruminating in your south node and unpacking all this heavy karma. Like, you have to realize that this is a lot of karma all at once being force-fed into our lives. And it's not only stuff you've done, it's stuff that your ancestors did. It's stuff that some random person, that some butterfly 3 million years ago flapped its wings, and there you go. So that's Pluto. It's this kind of nonsensical karma. So big events will come through that won't always make sense. Some of those things will make sense in the way of past lives. And some of the things like Saturn stuff, it will be the consequence of your actions or inaction. So there is this kind of huge focus on the south node. However, in those time periods before August 4th, this is August 4th, so everything's leaving by now, but in June and July, you will have this opportunity to make your way forward. This is a spiritual transit, so you're not supposed to like run from one point to the next one, but the general direction that you're going by is the south node to the north node, or your karma to your dharma. And so that's manifesting or unfolding, and at some point you reach this. It could be it most likely will be in a future lifetime. So with this transit here in June and July, let's pause this for a minute because it's okay. It's giving me anxiety. I'm like, oh no, I'm running out of time. So with this transit, you are getting this opportunity, especially in June and July, to bring energy into your fourth house, which is house, home, and family. So you are never alone. I feel like part of the channeled message seems to me to be that you have to, in some way, you're in some way really preoccupied with a alliance with someone that is like a soulmate in your life. And soulmate doesn't mean like romance. It means someone who's very significant, tied, karmic, tied to past lives, past events, and all that stuff. And I feel like you are experiencing a lot of consequence because of that relationship in your life through the next few years. However, your home and family is the direction that you're meant to go or orient your consciousness towards, and that's where the north node is. And that's understated because there aren't many transits supporting the north node right now, except in June and July. But this is where this card really comes in. I sense a feeling of alienation because this person in this lifetime is not someone you may know very well, or you may not know them in this sense. So they may be a professional contact, someone that you know from school, some other connection. However, I feel like there's a sense of like a hesitancy to dwell in this energy for you, Aries, and I feel like that's counterproductive to what the energy is trying to teach you. Yes, of course, I think you should use this energy as much as you can, because the Sun and the Ace of Pentacles is assuring for you a lot of success in an aspect of your life where you may have been frankly struggling or hitting a glass ceiling or not being able to get past a certain point. However, I feel like with the North Node and that June-July transit in which there are eclipses in Cancer, there's a solar eclipse on July 2nd at 10 degrees Cancer. So that's going to be impactful for you. We saw the Mercury retrograde, right through Cancer in July as well. But the message is you are never alone. So I think the encouragement here is to take a chance. Take a chance with this wonderful thing that's being brought up by this very special transit. You're not going to see this again in your lifetime. You know, this is a very, very special transit. It's in Capricorn. Capricorn to me is one of the most extreme signs. It is a cardinal sign. It initiates energy, and so I feel like it's a big portal. The whole 2-year process is a massive portal and like a growth period. This is the huge unpacking of some legacy, some destiny. And so it's like what's the prodigal son, right? That's the son that goes off to establish himself in the world before coming back home. What would happen if he was like, no, I don't really want to go there, you guys, because like I'll be kind of lonely, you know? So like you need to in some way do the thing that the energy is calling you to do, and trust that the universe is going to provide for you comfort and security in due time. Maybe not immediately, but ultimately yes. So you should be brave. That's the message, I feel. But let's talk about the North Node in Cancer, okay? So I'm going to let this go again. So we're at August right now. You can tell what month it is by looking at the sun, and this is the sun, right? So we're looking at August and going into September now, but let's talk about the North Node in Cancer in the 4th house. So all the changes that you're doing that have to do with your career and your public life are feeding directly into your North Node, which is your home and family. So in some way it allows you to break through certain things that have been holding you back, and create for yourself a certain type of destiny or a certain type of opportunity to do with home and family issues. Even though there's not many transits here, you will have the opportunity to still interact with this energy, particularly when there's transits here. And there will be at least 2 couple-month periods over the next 2 years in which that is the case, one of them being June and July of 2019. I guess in 2020, the North Node will have moved to Gemini. So you get one and a half, maybe in May 2020, there'll be this transit here again. I'm guessing Venus will be over here by 2020. Anyway, so I feel like you will, don't worry. So let me summarize what I'm trying to say. I don't think you should worry with the things that are preoccupying you now, and it would be a real waste for you not to explore your career and your public life and these kinds of arrangements or agreements, because I think that they will naturally feed you into the North Node in the end anyway. So don't give up on your dreams just to be comforted by the people. That's a kind of fear, a codependency, fear of abandonment kind of thing. Don't be afraid. Just push forward and trust that those things will come together for you. Okay, so 4th house Cancer, North Node. Let's take a look what you get, Aries. We have the King of Pentacles, a Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn. I love the King of Pentacles. Such a good card. It's just so like, I got all my business covered. See, I got all my business covered. I know what's good. It doesn't have to be an earth sign. It could be you, Aries, man or woman. And so I feel like this is the person this is the prodigal son when he's been successful, you know. He established himself in some foreign business, and now he's coming back home with all that coin, all those bags right there. Let's take a look at the next message. We have the 4 of Pentacles. Interesting. And the Hierophant, I don't want to speak to it yet, but I have my thoughts on that. The Hierophant is the card of Taurus, and Taurus is your 2nd house of money. It's assuring a lot of money. Bang on. Okay, so we have Jupiter now about to move in December into Capricorn. That's going to be a massive stellium. I think you're going to head into some big money, Aries. I really think that this is a reading for money, and I'm sorry if you're looking for love. There's a little caveat here. Let's pause this video because we're already at 17 minutes. So I feel like I think you're going to hit the money mark unless you totally pass on addressing these things. You would be a fool to hide under a rock and not take the opportunities that the world gives you. The prodigal son or daughter come home and they have all the money, they have all the status, they have all the power and the luck. But why is there a 4 of Pentacles? And I feel like that's karma. And this is karma that you may be called upon to break in this lifetime. So take it on if you feel like it speaks to you. If it doesn't, leave it alone. But I feel like there's some resonance here that has to do with the King of Pentacles has earned his money. He has his money, he has his security, and I feel like he's not duly sharing that with the people in his future, whoever's in his vicinity moving forward. And I feel like this Four of Pentacles has to do with this, you know, refusal to in some way open up. And I feel like that's going to be a karmic blight on his future. So I think that this is in some way him shutting down and no longer believing that he's never alone, and starting to think that he's in a position of scarcity in which he has to retain his wealth and not share it with others, because he in some way is alone. It's an expression of being alone, or an expression of loneliness. And so I feel like in this lifetime it may work in his favor. He may find success, and if you're dealing with this person, you may see this person not give back to you in the way that you had hoped. However, I feel like you may see this person glow up and be successful, but there's karmic repercussions for this. And I typically read this card as always a positive card, the Wheel of Fortune. It's the card of Jupiter. But I feel like the resonance here to do with future lives or multidimensional stuff is that the wheel does go down, and for every up there's a down somewhere, right? So if he is creating this, it's creating a vacuum. It's an energetic vacuum in which he's not being fluid, and he's not being generous with what he has. And that's the Family card. So somewhere, if not in, I don't think it's in this lifetime, but in some lifetime, in some future tense or some parallel dimension, there's a repercussion for it. So it's a real big warning, actually. And if you find yourself to be the King of Pentacles, you got to lay off and be generous. And if you are with a King of Pentacles, or if a King of Pentacles has done this to you, shortchanged you, wasn't generous to you, whatever, I feel like you may even see that person very successful. But I don't think that it would be only surface. And I feel like in another, maybe in some time that you don't see, there will be consequences for such actions. And I think that's what this is essentially saying. So whichever you find yourself, enjoy your wealth and enjoy your success. But I think that there's this like little warning here. And I think that's a pretty ominous warning here. Look, I'm just extending this reading to 20 minutes because I think it's important for you to be, I think it's like a gentle whisper that's going to turn into a roar. And so I feel like, yeah, you need to hear this, and it has to do with home and family, and that's the resonance of Dharma. It's part of the energy learning to cohabitate or to co-connect, interconnect, and fuse together. And over many, many lifetimes, it does actually work itself out. But for the time being, there's this kind of, and it's for a reason. That's why it's hard to give advice. There's a reason why this person's choosing this path. It has to do with the past. Maybe in the past life, these two swords people betrayed each other with such hope and promise. There was a resonance to do with that, but it was very slight. So maybe in some parallel universe, this Knight of Swords and this Knave of Swords betrayed each other. And so that's what came through, was the King of Pentacles, in order to protect, you know, because there was a lesson of, you know, some agreements break. Okay, so now let's prepare for the Vimeo reading. You guys got a long one because I took a big break in between doing these. So, hey girl, hey. Okay, so let's see. You have Cosmic Tarot, and this is my clarifier spread. I used to do this on the Daily Show when I did that in 2015. So if you guys want to go check this out, it's on Vimeo down below in the Timeless Karma playlist. It's not a timeless reading, but it does cover a year and a half, so I think that's a reasonable place. And I really want, it's a karmic reading. As you can tell, it's metaphorical and like abstract, and you're supposed to kind of open your third eye to listen to it, that kind of thing. So anyway, so hopefully this helps. Please leave a comment and a like, you know, and I think that this reading is a reading of success, and if you guys are wondering about Eris, that asteroid I told you guys about, she's moving into Taurus in 2050. So if any of you plan to be around by then your sign will be free, emancipated from that energy. Look, align with those otters. I wish for you guys all the best. Open your heart, open your spirit. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Hi guys, thank you for joining me and welcome to this reading for September 6th. I'm excited to be here with you guys. I already know what sign it is. I didn't want to switch it again because the light just went weird. So I have it a little bit dark right now because it's actually really light outside. So I have to have the blinds closed. I hope you don't mind. We're reading for Cancer. Okay, and so we're going to take a look at the Cancer chart right now. It's really important for you to be aware of what's going on because as you can see here, Saturn's going direct right in your 7th house of partnership. This means that any kind of partnership issues that are not working out, they're going to really crash during this time. Also, the moon will move between Gemini, Cancer, and then into Leo at the latter part of the week. So this is coming through your 1st house. You should have a lot of attention this week. You should have a lot of opportunity to assert who you are and get a good rapport. You're heading into 3 weeks of love when Venus moves into, actually longer, the next couple months are going to be very love oriented for you as Venus moves into Scorpio and then all these transits start moving around in Capricorn. What I would expect is that anybody who you shouldn't be around, anybody who you shouldn't be with, they're going to really hit the, you know, the door, the trash can. Here is your positive affirmation. I read this, but I wanted to keep it for you like originally. This world is our heaven on earth, and we are the power we are looking for. Each one of us is linked with the universe and with life. So exciting. So for this reading, I'm doing a little bit of a pick a card here, which means that you guys can choose one of 6 options and apply it to your life in whatever way you feel important. So for example, maybe you feel like you really want to apply this to like a boyfriend or maybe a girlfriend or a situation that you are thinking about. So you can kind of have some time to adjust and attribute each of these cards to a specific area of your life. I'm going to clarify them all on Vimeo, which brings me to my next point. I forgot. Hold on. Let me play some music. Let me show you something. So I've been noticing that people have been purchasing just a single rental of the reading, which is really expensive if you think about it. And the way I figured it out is 1 or 2 countries that have very few views from, so like Greece or something random like that. It seems as though they're renting the same, renting every day, and pretty much this is equal to 2 rentals. So you can actually go into the buy all option. All the videos I add to the playlist will be included in that purchase for September. So I would say try that if you keep on renting. If you keep on want to rent it and give me money, hey girl, hey, I'm gonna oblige. So here is your first message. We have the 8 of water. So I feel as though getting over one's problems, somebody's getting over their problems. They're no longer feeling so bad about things. They're opening up to you. They're letting you know how they feel about you. Here is the next message, getting to know each other. As you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens. This is a time of coming together, letting go of attachments to things that hurt, letting go of attachments to things that have been keeping you behind, Cancer. With the transit in Capricorn, it's not only what's being done to you, it's how you're initiating things. So in some way, you are putting your foot down and saying, okay, well, I'm going to make it work for me in this capacity, in this direction. Let's take a look at your cards. We have the 5 of Angels, withdrawal, the 5 of Swords. So there was some type of confrontation. Probably you were, or they were demanding that you open your heart. And in some way there was this kind of standoff energy that happened. One or both people felt as though there was a loss, and I think that you kind of both went back to the drawing table and realized that you had more feelings for the other person than you originally had thought. Here is the next card for the week of September 6th. We have the Emperor, the Father. This also represents business. It represents the 7th house. So I think that something is really popping off for you in the area of partnership and relationships at this time. It's through understanding that you might miss out on something that will propel you to make a decision or a choice. Or somebody's making a decision or choice because they realize if they don't choose, they may miss out on something. They've realized that because there was some type of fight that happened between you and another person. And so that was kind of the learning lesson to kind of move forward into kind of being more open, being more receptive, taking a chance. Here is the next message. And we have the 8 of Trees skill. This is Sun in Virgo. The Sun is in Virgo right now. And this is in your 3rd house of identity. So it's like you're showing more of yourself. You're stepping into the environment. One thing to remember is Lilith is in your 8th house. Let me show you. Lilith is in your 8th house. It's kind of hidden, but I'll show you right here. So that's Lilith, and she's in your 8th house. And basically what that means is that you could get into some problems if you are too quick to get into a sexual relationship with someone. So you want to take a step back if that's the case. Don't jump into anything with anyone, okay? Just really take your time this week especially. You might regret it, and especially with the Venus retrograde through your 5th house in October to November. Really take it slow. Your timeline should end on December in terms of getting to know someone and letting them in, you know, kind of figuring out what they're about. Next we have the Queen of Wands, the Illuminator. So I feel as though there's a woman, a Sag, Leo, or Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising, who is in some way influencing a situation and trying to push it into a specific direction that she feels is right for her. Here is the next message, the Page of Hearts, Innocence. This is a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, and this is someone who is bringing forward new love energy towards an outcome, or this is the waking up of emotional feelings towards another person. I feel as though there is quite a few people involved in this situation. You may have felt timid to even step into it because it seems as though there could be like you could be interested in someone, they could be dating someone, and that person is in some way also interested in them, and then there's another person who's kind of trying to persuade the situation in the other person's direction. So you need to be very cautious with that energy. The next message is the Ace of Trees, the Ace of Pentacles. I think that an offer is going to be made this week. I feel like it's really going to be a decision that you're going to have to understand when it comes through. So it's like something is going to be put forward and say, here you go. Do you want this? Is this how you want things to go? I feel as though you have to be very careful in this situation because the other person is feeling vulnerable. So you have to be very careful with how you relate to that. You can't be like, haha, I got you figured out, or the cat's in the bag, whatever, you know. You want to be really humble when this comes through. You can ask questions. You can't just jump into relationships, as I said. But when something is being offered in this way, you want to have, you know, reverence for it, but at the same time be discerning. So open and still willing to learn about what you're dealing with. Here is your angel card. So you have birth. Ooh, okay. Is somebody asking you to have a baby with them? Oh my goodness. If they are, then I think that that's something very quite special. But for many of you, it's to do with the beginning of something new. I feel as though someone sees something really beautiful within you and they want to support you in seeing the outcome of that in a specific direction. I would be very careful with the influence of these women, Sag, Leo, or Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising. I feel as though in some way this person could be influencing a situation because they have a personal preference or they have a stake in a situation. They have a stake with regard to seeing how a situation pans out or how they want to see it turn out. So be cautious with that energy. Don't be foolish, but also be open. I know it's very kind of contradictory information, but I think that you need to kind of have a little bit of romance while at the same time having a little bit of discernment. So what I'm going to do now is clarify each of these 3 cards on Vimeo, each of these 6 cards on Vimeo, and I will do a 3-card Lenormand reading also. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a nice day, and I will talk with you soon. Take care. Bye. Hi guys, thanks for joining me and welcome to your video for the new moon in Scorpio. Ooh, autofocus. Let's see, so we're going to read for this card. Look how mystical it looks. Ooh, we're going to fix it in just a sec. Hopefully you guys are doing well, and I have, oh there we go, I have the Mary L Tarot to start off with. If you guys can like and comment, that would be fantastic. I would greatly appreciate it. Okay, so let's see the message. We have, ooh, look at this, the Ace of Cups. This is the gorgeous Mary L Tarot. I think it's one of the most beautiful tarot decks. It took her 14 years to paint, hand paint every single painting for it. We have the 3 of Discs, okay? And then we have the 10 of Wands. Okay, so this is the deal. This is the real deal, Holyfield. I feel as though you have competing interests here. I feel like on the one hand you are beginning something new. There's an evolution of a new relationship. Maybe it's a friendship, but I think more likely it is romantic love situation. Now this could be like a romance, something that you want to explore, something that you want to look into and consider. Or it could be actually a deepening of a relationship with your partner. So there's a new leaf unfolding for you in terms of love. The next card is the 3 of Pentacles. And so we have something that needs to be taken care of and nurtured. You've taken on a responsibility for something and now you have to see it through. And then as the outcome, we have the 10 of Wands, which means that you will be pretty busy with whatever you're doing. Your days are going to be pretty filled with a lot of different competing interests, and you're going to want to try to keep them all going. Let me turn off autofocus. The sign we are reading for is Sagittarius. Ooh, too busy for your own good. I know this because I know some Saggies, and you guys are running like a million miles an hour or something. So super fast paced right now. Let's take a look at your astrology. The way that I'm doing these readings for the new moon is that I have the astrology to show you here on YouTube, and as a bonus for everybody who got the buy all package for November, we'll go and do an asteroid / fixed star breakdown for your sign. So it's a very special video that's linked down below, okay? But in short, the new moon is helping. It is helping in your 12th house. So that has a lot to do with like spiritual awareness, personal growth, and it's actually sextiling Pluto and Vesta here in your 2nd house of personal property and money. So it's this kind of, it's an awareness Sagittarius with regard to your money's not really money at this point for you. Money resonates on a metaphysical level. It is an extension of your spiritual awareness, and it is the thing through which you see what's going on in your spiritual life. So pay attention to whatever's going on for you in a physical realm in terms of monetary growth. Now this is also the last moment before Jupiter moves into Sag, and we'll do a separate series of videos for Jupiter and Sagittarius. But with this new moon, this is a loose conjunction, but it's still a conjunction. A conjunction is when 3 or more planets are in the same position. But Jupiter is very powerful right now because it's not only in the last minutes of Scorpio, that's when it starts giving the full gamut of whatever it is that it's meant to give. And in your case, spiritual awareness, consciousness. It's also creating a very neat angle to the North Node and the South Node, which is actually in your 3rd house. The 3rd house is communication, and so Jupiter sextiling the 3rd house. I feel as though there will be communication that is coming through you or to you that is of a spiritual nature that will ground you and bring you awareness to something. You know that feeling when somebody says something to you and you derive from that an epiphany, some kind of really deep conclusion? I think this is what's going to happen here with the South Node. Now remember, South Node is karmic, so it has to do with past lives. So if you're interested in that, that might be coming straight through your consciousness. So do some meditations to really connect with this energy. And the fact that the South Node is so close to Pluto and Vesta gives you natural ability to harmonize with past lives. Now, it's not only the South Node. The South Node is always opposing the North Node, right? And Jupiter is currently trining the North Node in your 9th house, which is kind of by itself. It's not supported by any transits, as you can tell. And so what's going on when we have this trine, there's this kind of push of energy towards logic, right? That's the 9th house. Logic, reason, knowledge, learning, higher deduction. So all of this stuff is churning within you, within your heart, or within possibly your solar plexus. And an awareness is happening in the back of your head with Jupiter. So that's the corporal part of the reading. And then it's being brought forward into your consciousness to the front of your brain, right? And so you have this kind of awareness coming through. So you're going to, in other words, for those who don't like psychobabble, for those of you guys who just want a simple answer, you're probably going to come to some kind of very bright conclusion about who you are and which direction you're going to go, and like consciousness raising awareness. And that's a really good thing. And Jupiter is going to facilitate that right at this time. And then when Jupiter moves into Sag, that will continue, and you will have the next week or so of this very important transit, but it's very much accentuated by the new moon. So there is, I know this new moon is magical. It is a portal, and it has, for you, the portal probably has a lot to do with spirituality and logic, and how you ground that spirituality in our everyday life. On Vimeo, I'll do a separate video that kind of talks about the stars and asteroids, and I'll explain why it's so good, and maybe we'll find more information on that. Okay, so now let's pick some starseed cards. Yeah, let's do a couple more cards before we finish up. So your first message is, we have the higher self. So this has come up for other people. It's the moon card. So this is the high priestess. She's here. That's good. Knowledge and information is upon you now, Sag. And I feel like, oh, there's the Master of Chalices. This is my favorite card. This is the King of Cups. So that's here as well. Insight, intuition. The ocean of intuition, right? And then we have the Seven of Crystals. So how do you actually ground everything that's coming into your awareness? And this could be you, Sag, because of Scorpio, the new moon, and Jupiter here. This is your subconscious, which is your 12th house, coming into the 1st house. So you're taking on that water energy pretty intensely now. This is a time in which you should take care of yourself and really nurture whatever it is that's coming through. You might feel frazzled, you know, if you're trying to do too much while all this awareness is happening behind the scenes. And the question is, how do you ground this energy? How do you work it out? How do you figure out to combine the awareness, the emotional intelligence of what's going on right now, and long-term planning in your everyday life? How do you combine everything to make it work and make it make sense? I think that's the big question of the new moon. But it's lifted to the spiritual realm. You have a deeper sense of understanding and love towards others. And I feel as though you're ready to put in some work to make sure that you have achieved everything you want. And then you're going to have a sense of feeling maybe even pulled in multiple directions, a little bit strained, because it seems as though different facets of your life, your everyday life, your practical life, your spiritual life, and your logic are all engaged. They're all working together. And yep. This can also mean that you have an awareness towards the King of Chalices, so Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. You have a psychic bond and a psychic connection, and you're trying to make sense of what to do with it. Like, where do I actually take this? Where does it go now? Now on Vimeo, I'm going to do this spread also using 4 cards from the Art of Love. And you guys have on the bottom the Ace of Trees, abundance. And so what this means is that this is you taking a step forward in a practical direction. This is the new beginning. It could be a new job. It could be a step towards achieving something that you've always wanted. This could be now putting your imagination, which is the new moon, into a practical manifestation, right? Putting it into use, making it happen. But it's through your hard work and the application of effort. I feel as though you feel very overwhelmed with this new moon, and I suspect you're going to have pretty big dreams, so you should probably get prepared to write them down. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you guys so much for joining me. Again, the extended will be on Vimeo. And it's very short, so it's only good if you've got the whole package for November monthly readings. It's my little bonus for you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a nice day. Take care. Bye. Happy new moon.